I want to have a serious conversation for a minute about eliminating true gun related violence. Now, I'm not the kind of person that talks about gun violence and throws all gun related deaths into one bucket and says we have a massive problem. Because if we do that, we're stupid and we're lazy. In other words, if we are piling homicides, suicides, gang related deaths, mass shooters, rampage killers, if we're piling all of those, including accidental deaths as they relate to guns, somebody who mishandles a firearm or something like that and shoots and kills somebody or themselves, if we're putting all those in the same bucket and saying that we need to figure out a way to eliminate these, then we're going to have to come up with about 5 or 6 different types of solutions, because all of those are arrived at in a different way. In other words, the guy who shoots and accidentally kills his kid with a gun, that's not the same guy who's gangbanging on the south side of Chicago and shoots somebody. If we're being serious about eliminating gun-related deaths and we approach both of those the same way, we're stupid. We are absolutely stupid. That's like your car running out of gas and you change the tires. It's absolutely stupid to approach those the same way. So we have to be honest about how we do that. And one point that I wanted to point out to prove that, and if you disagree, that's your opinion, but to me it tells me that you're being a little lazy. If you disagree with this, look at Chicago. Look at Chicago and Highland Park last week. 30 minutes apart roughly. Highland Park, we're all aware of. That's where they had the rampage shooting. 30 people shot, 7 dead so far, and 23 wounded. Look at Chicago. Not a peep about Chicago. Not a peep. 68 people shot, 8 dead, leaving 60 wounded. Now we know the details about the Highland Park rampage killing, right? The 22-year-old killer, or 21 maybe, I think he turns 22 in September, just trying to be honest here, allegedly on a rooftop, allegedly shoots down on a bunch of people in one setting, right? One setting, shot all those people. It's an outrage. It's horrible. No one debates that. Dominated the news stories, dominated the media the entire week, and still is dominating the media. Chicago, totally overlooked and not talked about. Of those 68 people who were shot, they were shot in 51 separate locations. That means that you had gunfire in at least 51 locations. This is the areas that somebody actually was hit. So you can rest assured that we know the skill level of shooters in these types of shootings. So I'm pretty certain that out of these 51 areas where people were shot, there were others where people were shot at and nobody was actually hit. Now let's go back to our Highland Park killer. This guy planned this. It's been verified. The guy planned this meticulously, right? Went and bought his guns for this shooting. Got them legally. Planned this all out. Planned to wear the woman's clothes. Planned where he was going to go. The ladder that was hanging on the side of the building. This is all methodically planned and thought out. In fact, he was allegedly going to potentially shoot some more people in Wisconsin, but he felt like he didn't have enough time to, quote, plan that out. So he just stuck with what he had originally done in Highland Park, right? So the mind went there. He had already arrived at that particular place in his mind and in his life that I'm going to shoot people. That's what I'm going to do on July 4th. He knew what he was going to do when he woke up that morning. He knew exactly what his intentions were. These other 51 locations down in Chicago, be honest with yourself and be honest with me. Do you really think those 51 shooters woke up that morning knowing they were going to shoot somebody? Do you honestly believe that? Do you think that old Gary woke up in Chicago, one of the guys that, maybe Gary's the one who shot 24-year-old woman who was killed and 2 others injured. The woman was struck in the torso and later died at Stroger Hospital. A second woman, 42, was shot in the hand and hospitalized in good condition. Do you think Gary woke up that morning knowing he was going to shoot these people? Do you think he was intent on doing that? Do you think he planned this shooting? Do you think he methodically wore something so that he could escape the crime scene knowing that he was going to shoot somebody? Do you think the person who shot and killed a 26-year-old bicyclist planned that? Do you think that was his intention? I'm going to find somebody riding a bicycle. I'm killing them today. Do you think a 35-year-old man who was shot in the neck as he drove a vehicle was actually part of a plan of somebody who woke up that morning and said, I'm going to shoot a guy driving by in his car? These types of killings are not born of the same origin. They don't originate in the same place. This is where that thought is originated from. This is where it all starts. And if we think that we can approach minimizing or eliminating the types of killings that happen when some wacko plans it for a year and goes through all the trouble as a Highland Park person, if we think we can treat that the same way to stop that as the other 51 people who woke up in Chicago on July 4th and wound up shooting somebody, if we honestly feel like we are going to approach both of those types of scenarios the same way, if we think that we can approach those the same way, guys, we are stupid and we are absolutely lazy at best. If we don't stop trying to run down on guns and honest gun owners and start looking at motive, you've heard the word motive, right? If we don't start looking at motive and using the motive to trace back and decide when and how this person decided they wanted to kill somebody, we will never solve this problem. We will never solve this problem. It's being made political by a subset of people out there. And I truly believe in my heart that the rest of us do want resolution to this. But we will never find it as long as we let those few people dominate this territory.